I'm upping the stakes of the classic nothing to a knife CS2 challenge. Starting with a weekly drop worth $1.33, we'll do profitable trade ups until I can attempt a contract for one of the most iconic skins in the entire game, the KARAMBIT Blue Gem in Factory New. With such little wiggle room to start, we need to find a contract with a high success rate so as not to lose all our initial capital. So I went to CS Delta, one of the sites I like to use to find profitable trade ups, and found this combination with 10 R8 Revolver Nitros under 0.528 Battle Scarred. However, while playing around with the floats, it seemed to me that lower float contracts were actually better and potentially even cheaper. So I ended up bringing the overall floats down to ensure the M4 converter would come out in minimal wear and the SSG and USPS would be field tested. Plus, I was able to substitute out the R8 for other industrials from the 2018 Inferno collection that were at a cheaper price. Anything but the USPS would be a small profit here, but that's all we need to get started. First trade up of the new series. Let's go for it. The brake light. All right. Very happy with that. This video's sponsor, SkinSwap, is giving you a skin worth up to $50 entirely for free whenever you do your first trade and use my referral code. If you want to refresh your loadout, you can trade your skins for brand new ones in just a couple of seconds. Plus, their market tab now integrates cheap listings from Chinese sites so you can access the best prices without the need for a Chinese ID or bank account. They accept deposits via crypto, MasterCard, and Visa. If you want to cash out, SkinSwap makes that simple too with instant sell options to PayPal or crypto. On top of that, they run free daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways with the chance to earn extra entries simply by trading. Use the link below for a 3% lifetime sales bonus and a free skin worth up to $50. Big thanks to SkinSwap for supporting the channel. It didn't take me long to find our next contract, and the good news for you is if you're starting with a small budget, I actually think there's more possibilities for profitable contracts at these cheaper price points. The higher up you go, the more competition there is and the faster usable inputs tend to be bought up. For this trade up, it's simply 10 Galil metallic squeezes from the 2024 Overpass collection. The float needs to average out under 0.27 as they get scaled up, and this will keep our restricted outputs under the field tested threshold. There are actually a ton of inputs available on Trader at just 17 cents as you can see here, so I was able to buy up enough skins for 7 trade ups. All 3 outputs are in the green, so we should make about 50 cents per trade up. I love these kinds of contracts at this stage of the challenge, so let's send it. Wow, we didn't actually hit a single Jewel Berettas. Glad I wasn't trying to hit it in particular. Of course, I often try many combinations before the ones I show in these videos. The main site I use to test out trade ups is Skin Search, but I'll also put the trade up spy and CS Vote calculators in the description below for you to check out and see which one you prefer. And if you want a full guide on how trade ups work in CS2, I'll link my in-depth breakdown below as well. The next contract started as 10 field-tested P90 Alien lights, however, as I was able to find several low-float field-tested inputs around the 0.2 mark, I ended up being able to sneak in a couple of well-worn inputs and even a battle-scarred skin to bring the cost down by a couple of cents. This would still let us get a field-tested output, but brought overall profitability to about 126%. As always, keep in mind that the profitability shown by these calculators are statistical averages over an infinite dataset, and you really need to repeat these contracts many times to actually hit that theoretical rate. But I figure a 50-50 contract like this, where we either make $1.17 or lose 24 cents, isn't too bad. Let's see that AK breakthrough. Okay, that's unfortunate, but as I said, we only lose a couple of cents, so not the end of the world. Second attempt here. Nice. We should be making about $1 on that one. I'm giving away a pair of Sport Gloves Omega in Field Tested this month. For your chance to win, simply like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'll pick the winner on June 30th. Good luck. Of course, when using any of these trade up calculator sites, you always need to verify the numbers for yourself. Most sites don't update prices live or take into account overpay for lower floats. So for instance, on this contract with 10 0.205 Tech 9 FU bars, the cheapest listings at the required float started around the $1.30 mark, as opposed to the 22 cent suggested price. However, with a bit more searching, I found this contract, which used 10 warm-blooded UMPs in Well Worn from the Harlequin collection. I always like to check if other skins from the same collection share a similar float range, which will allow me to substitute them out and potentially decrease my input cost. That was the case here with the Sky Mandala Galil, which shares a 0 to 0.7 float range, and then the Zeus Earth Mandala wasn't far behind with 0 to 0.66. I also checked if there could be a better margin going for a better condition, such as here for minimal wear, but in the end it seemed like field tested was actually the way to go. The floats aren't as important here, so the two outputs share the same float. The floats aren't as important here as the two outputs share the same float range as the Galil and UMP, so any field tested inputs will work. We've got another 50-50, this time between the AWP Exothermic for a nearly $2 profit, and the USPS Sleeping Potion at about an 80-cent loss. As an aside, I actually really like this USPS skin. I'm currently running it with some Pandoras and it looks incredible. Since the inputs aren't float sensitive, this is a great opportunity to repeat the trade up several times and hopefully make up a couple of dollars. Let's go for it. Can we get one more AWP? Boom! Okay, nice. We are up 3-2 AWPs to USP, so I might call it there before our luck runs dry. Moving on then, and for the next contract, we're looking at another 10 stack of identical skins. I tend to mix collections, but for whatever reason this week, there seems to be quite a lot of discrepancies between collection rarities. We require floats to be under the 0.23 mark, but once again, I was able to find a couple around 0.18 and then filled the last few slots around 0.28, keeping the Phantom Disruptor under the 0.15 minimal wear threshold. For a contract coming in at just under $9, we have a 33% chance for the AK, which would be a solid $10 profit. The discotheque is pretty much break even, and then we want to avoid the Justice, which would be a roughly $3 loss. Let's see if we can keep our luck up this video, going for the AK in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go. I really was not expecting that to show up. Wow, okay. So far, so good. And we're nearly at the $20 mark for this first episode, so I'd love to reach that if possible with our next contract. There was a bit of back and forth with the Falchion Collection trade up, but I wasn't too happy with the 20% chance to profit, so I left it behind. Instead, I've decided to go for a combination of M249 Nebula Crusaders, all in Battle Scarred, so once again, super easy to find inputs. I was able to pick up 20 of them around the 90-cent mark, which gave us another 30% contract. We really want to see that AK again, frontside Misty. Otherwise, it's a break even on the Big Iron and a couple of dollar loss on the Flux. We just hit the Phantom Disruptor, so I'm not expecting much this time around, but we'd love to see another AK now. Oh shit, frontside Misty. Whoa, that thing is gross. Battle Scarred AK, but hey, that's a profit. I don't mind. Let's see that G3 SG1 reverse psychology, guys. No way. Another AK. Man, that is a very lucky streak right there, not gonna lie. I was honestly expecting to get 2 Fluxes coming off that Phantom Disruptor, but apparently these 30% contracts are in our favor today. Well, we made a lot more progress in this episode than I was expecting. Just goes to show that even on a small budget, it's possible to find profitable trade-ups. Be sure to subscribe for the next episode of this journey, otherwise take a look at one of these videos where I share more money-making methods for CS2. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.